If you want to get promoted to executive in 2026, you really only need to do 4 things. I know this because my executive career plan has helped ambitious leaders work less and have more impact, landing them executive and C-suite roles with major pay bumps, all in less than 12 months. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what this simple 4-part plan is, why it's crucial for your next promotion, and how to put it into action. So 2026 becomes your breakthrough year. The first step of this plan was the turning point that took my client Stephen from career stagnation to his dream executive promotion in under a year. Stephen had been working harder and longer for years, taking midnight calls from his boss, missing bedtime with his kids, giving up his favorite hobbies, ticking every box. But he still didn't get that promotion. He felt like a failure. However, everything changed when we started using something called the Champagne Pyramid. Let me explain. The bottom layer of flutes represents habits and behaviors. The middle layer is beliefs and the top is identities. What sits above each layer of the Champagne Pyramid automatically flows downwards and influences everything below it. So Stephen was chasing his promotion with negative identities, like I'm a failure. And if we pour that into the top of the pyramid, it flows downward, impacting everything below it. This created Stephen to have negative beliefs like, I'm not good enough, people judge me, success requires constant sacrifice, and those beliefs flow down, creating habits like procrastination, focusing on worst-case scenarios, and easily being derailed. Stephen was desperately chasing his promotion by pouring more effort into habits. But because his system was broken at the top, it just overflowed, with his energy draining faster than results appearing. So he stayed stuck in a career he hated, and it spilled into his personal life. He felt like a bad husband and father. Dust gathered on his golf clubs, and resentment grew. However, when you change what sits at the top of the pyramid, everything below shifts automatically. So pour your time and energy into upgrading your identities, and transformation cascades through the rest of your career and life. And that starts with uncovering the identities and beliefs holding you back and deliberately upgrading them to ones that expand your career and life. You'll apply these shifts throughout this plan, just like Stephen did. Stephen mapped out the identities and beliefs of the promoted version of himself and anchored into them. A man driven by love to be the best version of himself for his family and himself. A fulfilled, successful leader doing work he genuinely enjoyed. A calm, positive role model for his kids. And because we poured these into the top of his pyramid, everything below it transformed naturally. His habits reshaped themselves, shutting everything down at 10:30 p.m., prioritizing sleep and family, including his boys in the things he loved, like Lego and cooking, playing golf twice a month. And the results were transformative. His time and energy finally landed in the right glasses. The right executive moves just clicked. Stephen became laser-focused at work, switching effortlessly between executive and dad mode. Tough days no longer derailed him. He consistently showed up as his best self. Within 8 months, he landed a new leadership role with a promotion, and then was promoted to executive very soon after. So how do you start pouring champagne at the top of your pyramid, making sure your time and energy finally lands in the right glasses? It all comes down to one thing: the quality of the questions you ask yourself. The questions I guided Stephen through peeled back the layers of his current reality and revealed the version of himself who was already promoted. So I've distilled 5 powerful questions to help you define your promoted self and close the gap between where you are and who you need to become. The first question helps you uncover the stagnant water at the top of your champagne pyramid, those old beliefs and identities holding you back. Because until we change what sits at the top, everything below remains the same. Now, identities and beliefs often show up as I am statements or cause and effect stories. So if X happens, then Y will happen, or as unquestioned facts about yourself or your world. Here are some examples from past clients. When my colleagues don't do their job properly, it ruins my day. I'm a bad leader. I'm selfish. So question 1 is, what identities and beliefs did your future self have to let go of to achieve that promotion? Because once we know what needs to be poured out of the top glasses, the next step is deciding what to pour in. So let's move on to question 2. Think about the version of you who's already achieved your promotion. What identities and beliefs did they need to embody to get that step up? Here are some identities and beliefs past clients have anchored into. I'm successful. I'm a confident and effective leader. I'm brilliant at processing emotions. Once you've poured this champagne into the top of your pyramid, everything else starts to flow naturally. Old habits pour out and supportive habits pour in. For example, Stephen used to believe that working out always came first. It was the only thing that made him feel successful and kept his emotions regulated. But he realized that his future promoted self didn't believe this. He didn't need to obsessively work out to feel successful, and he now had a wider set of mental tools to regulate his emotions and show up fully. So he set a new habit: no work or training past 11 p.m. If that meant leaving a task unfinished or inviting the kids into the home gym, so be it. He prioritized sleep and family time, and as a result, he had sharper focus, more energy at work, and he showed up as a present husband and father at home. And as you know, within a year, he earned 2 promotions, which brings us to question 3. Which 1 to 3 habits did your future self stop doing to get promoted? And which 1 to 3 new habits did they embrace? Now that you've defined your career and life-enhancing identities, beliefs, and habits, your day needs to reflect them. Take my exec client, Celia, for example. 2 of her new habits were reading bedtime stories to her kids and an end-of-the-day gratitude practice. She scheduled them into her diary as non-negotiables. Structuring her day this way didn't just make her days better, it made her a more present mother and an optimistic, solution-focused leader. Which brings us to question 4. How does your future promoted self structure their day to stay productive, present, joyful, and energized? So another one of Celia's biggest breakthroughs came when she refilled her whole pyramid with life and career-enhancing champagne. This new mindset let her detach from what she couldn't control and focus only on what she could positively influence, completely transforming how she showed up each day amid the relentless chaos of startup life. It even let her sleep deeply again, and for the first time since having kids, she felt truly like herself. Which brings us to the 5th and final question. When setbacks or challenges hit, how does your future promoted self respond? So now that you've poured out the stagnant water that's been holding you back and filled your pyramid with career and life-enhancing champagne, you can clearly see the version of yourself who's already achieved that promotion and the habits, behaviors, beliefs, and thought patterns you need to embody to make it real. So these 5 questions give you a North Star to follow, but that's not enough to get you all the way to your promotion. To dial in clarity and momentum, you need the next step. So the second step is this. I'm going to show you an often overlooked executive strategy that can fast track your promotion. Because the problem I see over and over again is executives feeling time poor and energy drained. They use busyness as an excuse, thinking the more hours they put in, the more valuable they are, and the closer they'll get to that promotion. But in reality, that mindset just runs you down, slows your leadership growth, and actually blocks your promotion. Take my client Celia again. Before using this overlooked strategy, she was drowning at work with endless to-do lists, constant firefighting, always on call, and sacrificing her family time and hobbies. The stress got so bad, she felt like she was going crazy and hit a crossroads. Should she quit or go on sick leave? Instead, we implemented this one overlooked executive strategy and her entire career transformed. Within 12 months, she led a full restructure of the C-suite. She helped close a multi-million-dollar deal and pulled the company back from the edge of bankruptcy, saving dozens of jobs in a small community. And she did all of this while feeling even more fulfilled and energized. So what step did my client take that accelerated her career to the next level? The strategy most execs overlook, but is one of the fastest ways to earn a promotion, is to remove your biggest time and energy drains. Every client who leans into this, like Celia, reclaims at least 2 hours a day and finally gets their weekends back. So, to get started, ask yourself, for the next month, what 1 to 3 things will you deliberately stop doing to earn that promotion? Use your answers from step 1 to help you. For my clients, it means stopping things like spiraling into worst-case scenarios, letting others define their self-worth, allowing other people's mistakes to derail their day. Brain dump everything down, then choose only 1 to 3 habits or behaviors you'll stop doing in the next month. So step 2 helps you cut the fat, sharpen clarity on how to lead at your highest level, and build unstoppable career momentum. But you still need a concrete action plan to secure your promotion this year, which is exactly what the next step gives you. Step 3 is all about a promotion planning technique that slices through overthinking and overwhelm like a hot knife through butter. Take my exec client, Magnus. He wanted a promotion, but between his workload, family, and triathlon, he was being stretched to breaking. And under all that pressure, he slipped into a victim mindset, blaming his boss for stealing his ideas and blocking his career advancement. But everything changed when we distilled his insights from step 1 into a razor-sharp, focused promotion plan. Within 3 months, Magnus was headhunted by PwC. But by then, his boss's boss realized he was the glue holding the team together, and suddenly he found himself in a salary negotiation. He walked away with both a promotion and a big pay bump. So what is this promotion planning step that led my client to not only being unexpectedly headhunted, but also to his promotion? I helped him switch from long, overcomplicated, and overwhelming multi-year plans to focused 1-month goal cycles using my promotion performance tracker. It helps you to identify the 20% of actions that drive 80% of your career results, deliver consistent peak leadership performance, and easily track and see your career progress week by week, month by month. So what exactly is the promotion performance tracker, and how can you use it for your next promotion? Let's walk through it together. All right, here is the promotion performance tracker in all of its simple yet powerful glory. You can access this template through the link in the video description. I've grayed out a few example entries, but let's use your answers from step 1 to build out your tracker now. So the first thing to do is to summarize your leadership approach in 1 sentence. This is a short, clear statement that captures how you lead at your highest level. I have included examples from past clients, like I provide expert guidance to colleagues on environmental aspects of renovation projects within the hydro industry, helping deliver the best possible outcomes. Next, you want to use your leadership statement to pick your 3 to 5 key leadership processes you'll focus on for the next month. We have 3 examples in grey: listen brilliantly, breath work, and to give my employees space and guidance when needed. As you can see, these are specific actions. You don't want to write vague goals like complete project titled X. So once you've got your key processes, the next thing you're going to do is to rate your performance for each process in 3 ways. First, you're going to rate your average daily performance on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is your worst and 10 is your absolute best performance. This is the yellow box. Don't overthink this, just put down the first number that comes to mind. Next, rate your off-day performance, so how you perform on those tough days, perhaps when you lack sleep or are extra stressed. This is the red box. Again, don't overthink. First number that comes to mind, write it down. And finally, rate your great day performance. So how you perform when you are firing on all cylinders. This is that green box. This then brings us to briefly describing what your off day, that's the red box, and your great day, green box, performance looks and feels like for each key action. This is going to clearly reveal your performance gap, so you can start stepping into your highest level leadership every single day. Next, for each key action, identify one small singular action you can take to raise your off-day score by 1 point in the next month. So the goal here isn't to boost peak days, it's to lift up your baseline. So even on off days, your performance is still high. Now, onto the final part. That's the last column. Decide how you'll track your career progress for each key action. For example, if your key action is daily breath work, reflect at the end of each day, did I do it? Yes, great. If not, what's my plan for tomorrow to ensure that I actually do it? And that is it. That is the promotion performance tracker and how to fill it out. Now, even with this promotion performance tracker giving you a very clear roadmap, it's still not quite enough to take you all the way to your promotion this year. You need the 4th and final step to stay on track and make that promotion inevitable. So now I'm going to show you the biggest trap I see ambitious executives falling into when chasing promotions. Take my client Stephen again. He used to start every morning with big promises to himself. Today, he'd be laser focused, highly effective, and make his boss proud. But every day he'd get derailed with doom scrolling, procrastinating, people pleasing, or thrown off by unexpected challenges. No matter what he tried, he couldn't shift his mind into the right high-performance gear. Years passed in frustration, self-blame, shame, and career stagnation. But here's the hidden trap. Maintaining new career-changing habits, like the ones you've just identified in your promotion performance tracker, can often feel like pushing a massive boulder uphill. And under stress, pressure, fatigue, that boulder just gets heavier and heavier. And as Stephen puts it, it's far easier to say, fuck it, let it roll back down and promise I'll do better tomorrow. But then tomorrow never comes. However, everything changed when we installed this one game-changing executive habit. I helped Stephen double down on what was working, ditch what wasn't, lean into his strengths, remove roadblocks early, navigate curveballs with confidence, stay focused on what truly matters, and sustain peak performance. The transformation was immediate. The right executive moves and decisions began falling into place. He became highly focused, managed clients with ease, made high-quality decisions effortlessly, stress no longer controlled him, and within a year, as you know, he landed those 2 promotions with that pay bump. And years later, he also uses this same habit to power his peak performance and success. So what is this 4th and final step of the only executive career plan you need in 2026? Every morning and evening, Stephen answered 6 questions aligned with his promotion performance tracker. These questions helped him to perform at his peak, stay on track, and made his progress visible. This is the power of a daily self-accountability practice. And you can use Stephen's pre and post work accountability practice that are now on the screen as a blueprint to design your own. Ensure your questions are aligned with your tracker and make them fast and easy to answer. Block out 5 to 15 minutes at the start and end of each day and make this habit a non-negotiable. So hit pause on this video and stick it in your calendar now, because this is your time to set up your day and close it out like the elite executive you are. By sticking with this practice, you're going to lock in sustained high performance and reach your promotion faster than you ever imagined. And as a bonus executive promotion tip, at the end of each month, block out about 30 minutes to review and update your performance tracker so you can finally stop guessing or plateauing or stagnating and keep taking deliberate, measurable actions that actually push your career forward. So now you know the 4 steps of the only executive career plan you need in 2026. So really, the only question is, will you let another year slip by? Or are you ready to make your promotion inevitable? If you want my guidance to break free from the habits holding you back and fast track your career success, click the link in the description. Let's make this your year.